Are you ready for career success? Your Career Podcast will help you to take control of your career. Now, would you like to take my 2-minute career success quiz to see if you're really ready for career success? You'll get your results, analysis, and recommendations for improvement immediately. Go to janejacksoncoach.com and take the quiz today. The link is in my show notes. Now, on with the show. Welcome to episode 251 of Your Career Podcast. Our special guest today is Adam Scougall, with whom I've worked for several years and am honored to support. Adam's story, you're going to like this one, everybody, is one that is a little bit out of the box because Adam is quite out of the box most of the time and so interesting to work with. We hear a lot about interior designers aspiring for luxury clients, an office full of staff, but Adam couldn't imagine anything worse. After 18 years of people leadership in his corporate life, he ventured out in 2018 to running his solo design business full-time. This lasted for 3.5 years before he returned to where he started, corporate with a buzzing design side hustle. After working with a broad range of clients, some great and some a nightmare, Adam became tired of having to accept jobs that could make ends meet as opposed to fulfilling his creative juices. COVID didn't help financially, nor an always pending recession, which is a bit scary. And after all those years, Adam realized he didn't want to pursue a be-all and end-all approach to his design career. He wanted stability, steadier finances, and the ability to only take on design work that fulfilled both his own and his client's vision. Adam now enjoys what we call a lifestyle business, balancing projects he only wants to take on, whilst now happily holding down a full-time gig at his corporate firm of choice. He's also developed his own signature design implementation system that employs other designers to assist day-to-day, with Adam coming in only at key points in the project. How perfect is that? Now, Adam is about to launch a podcast telling all his experiences. His aim for the show is really to teach you the thrills, reveal the spills, and show you how you can create an interior design career that suits your lifestyle. So let's welcome Adam to the show. Hello, Adam.
Hey, Jane, thank you so much. I love the intro. It makes me sound a bit interesting.
Adam, we've worked together for several years now, and you have always been the most interesting client and so much fun to work with. And for those of you who are watching the video of this, you'll see that Adam looks very dapper today. He's got the most amazing hat and fantastic velour velvet jacket in a beautiful on my screen, it looks like a deep purpley blue. You might have the correct color tone to tell me what it is, but he looks absolutely amazing. So, Adam, on Your Career Podcast, it's all about career transitions and reinventions. So just to kick us off, can you tell me what were your early career aspirations when you were a little boy?
Oh, so Jane, when I was a little kid, I was, one of these little creative kids that, I wasn't very good at maths, and I was one of these, little kids that couldn't play sport properly and all that sort of thing. So I ended up, I wanted to do some acting, and I remember being 7 and saying to Mum and Dad, I'd love to go to an acting school. And I did join a school, and they did singing and dancing and acting, and that really was what I started off doing and enjoyed. And I then I had a little sort of career, little childhood stint as an actor. I was in a few movies. Mad Max, you remember the one with Tina Turner, the third one?
You were in Mad Max?
Yeah, I was in that one. That was a great, when I was 10. But I did that for a few years, Jane, and by the time I was a teenager, we moved out of Sydney, and I left the acting school I was in in Sydney, and we moved to the Central Coast. And I was also very shy, even though I could get on stage and be out there. We moved away a couple of hours out of Sydney, and Mum said, well, it's up to you now. You have to get on a train if you want to go to an audition for an ad, and here's the timetable. And I just was really freaked out in the trains and going here and there. And I sort of unfortunately perhaps just finished up doing it. So that was the very early part of really getting into that side of things. And then as time went on, I did other things. I did hairdressing, which I think I was sacked 3 times in the first year. So that didn't work out. And then I ended up like most people, or a lot of people, in a corporate environment. I ended up, job to job to job to probably mid-20s. And then I spent from 26 onwards a large chunk of my career working in the corporate space, which gave me a lot of great experience, and just got me sort of on the straight and narrow for less of a better term. But then I started to consider, how can I get some creative energy back in my life? And I did a course in interior decorating and design in 2008 and 9. So that was when things changed and moved on. But that's, in a nutshell, kind of my experience from a kid and growing into adulthood, and then working out where I landed sort of, by mid-30s. That's when the design part of things came in.
I think you must have always had that creative leaning to you because, being on stage, acting, singing, dancing, I mean, how fantastic. And to have this big break early on at the age of 10 with Tina Turner and Mad Max, I mean, that sounds very exciting. You're a dark horse. That was something I haven't learned.
Oh, you didn't know? Yeah. That's my claim to fame, 1984. The bullet.
You must have been saving that information for the podcast. So it's very exciting. I'm going to go and Google it after this.
Yeah, Google it.
As well.
I died in quicksand, Jane. I die in the film.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I die in quicksand. So you might even get a bit teary if you catch that clip. It's on YouTube.
Oh, I'm definitely going to find it. In fact, I'm going to go and find the link and add it to my show notes.
Oh, so yeah. Well, that's
Adam sinks in quicksand at the age of 10. Oh, dear. I'll definitely cry because I'll miss you, Adam. Now, okay, so from acting to hairdressing, so, very creative roles. And then when you transitioned into corporate, how did that feel? Because that's so different and much more structured.
Yeah, well, look. To be honest with you, I thought, right, I'll go and work in a call centre, and that's what I did. And it's all customer service and making people, giving them the basics. It was credit cards. I gave them the credit card balance. We did some upselling, and I was a customer service person. I mean, at 26 when I started that, I just thought, you know what, I want to do some overtime. I want to pay off the car debt, and I just want to kind of get a job where I can, a stable job and just really basic stuff like that. I don't have a university degree. I didn't go and study to do anything like that. So it was just really me, getting into something that paid the rent, which it did at the time. But as time went on, I was given opportunities to because I knew the role. After a couple of years, I was given opportunities, to look after the team for a couple of days, and then that ended up in the next two years being a team leader role. So I was looking after a team, and then it sort of went and grew, and I sort of bounced all around in different areas, for business, B2B, B2C, and you know what, it just ended. It worked well for me, and having a steady income works well for me. It did then, and it does now, and I'm 49. But yeah, so I kind of, that was the experience, just moving through that. But of course, going back to the creative side, Jane, it was like about, late 30s, I thought, I need something else. And that's when I went and did a course.
And, so many people do, they sort of fall into a career, and then the career takes them, along this journey. And you've had a really successful corporate career, from customer care to team trainer to operations service to digital account development. Now you're a national relationship manager for the Global Communications Service. So you've had a stellar corporate career as well. But at some stage, you felt Okay, something is missing. And I think it must be because you weren't fulfilling that creative side that really needed to come out. And then doing that course in 2008, 2009 for interior design, that must have sparked that little bit of excitement, yes?
Yeah, absolutely. So that was really a turning point. And what I did successfully, and I don't know how I did it, and a lot of people, especially decorators and designers, say to me, how did you do all those jobs when you were working? And I said, I just made it happen. I would obviously take time off work to do some of it. I would have other people that I knew would help me doing some of it as well. For a while, like I had Jane, kind of a partner. It was all verbal, and that's a whole nother podcast. But I did have a partner for a period of time that did a lot of the day-to-day. So I was able to run over some successful residential design projects and then get them published as well, which was really a happy day for me when I first was published in a national magazine and got a few of those, because I was happy at the time. I mean, the money was great, the corporate experience. I got to coach people in corporate, and the part of, it's finance, but it's also the one-to-one with people is something that I think is a recurring theme, and something I'm considering doing as well, coaching in the design side of things, as we've discussed. But I love the coaching side of it, but then I did the course and I was able to do the two things. And I was also getting remunerated really well from these design jobs on the side. And just over time, I mean, I did it for about 8 years, sort of making all that happen. And people couldn't figure it out, because most people think, oh, you've got to go hard or go home with the design. You've got to finish your job. And I had all these coaches in times gone by tell me, you got to get out of your corporate role, get out of there. The universe will come to meet you as soon as you're available.
Well, it doesn't exactly happen that way. You can't just rely on the universe. There's a lot of hard work when it comes to running your own business. But what you did was, in 2018, you decided, I'm going to go and throw myself into this. And so that was a big move, wasn't it? I didn't know you then, but you decided, okay, let me set up my own business, Adam Scougall Design. And you did that full-time, 100%, full on. How did that go?
I'm glad I did it, Jane, because I realised, and I know that you understand this completely. I mean, you really have to go through hardship, I think, to really understand the benefits of being able to reset. So what happened, I actually did a design mastermind the year before. And the whole idea of that mastermind, which was a year-long course with other designers in the US, was to get me out of corporate and get me on the ground running and have this be a huge success. So that is what I did. We had this vision of me writing the resignation letter, and I posted in early 2018, I posted the letter to the group, clap, 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 clap. But then reality hit, Jane, and I started out well, and then things went a little bit quiet, and then I was meeting people that were really not the right type of person I wanted to meet with. In the residential space, you've got people that engage you, and then some of them can go with the flow and let you do what you do best, but some of them can micromanage like anywhere, tell you what to do, tell you, that I should be able to do it within this or that budget. I mean, it goes on and on. To answer your question, it was full of ups and downs, and don't even go there by the time we got to early 2020, when things changed for the worse, not only for me, of course, but that was tough. The whole COVID thing was difficult too.
And I think, so many people think, if I launch my business, people will come. Now, that doesn't happen. There's so much to running your own business. And it sometimes can be really cyclical, especially if you're a coach or a consultant, and then you can get a lot of work and you're super busy, and then the marketing falls away because you're so busy. And then when that project or gig ends, then suddenly you have to start hustling again to build up the momentum and land the next client or the next job. And so it's a bit like feast and famine in many, many consulting businesses. And with interior design, it depends on the clients who need something done. But then when COVID hit, that would have decimated your business it would have been so, so tough. And it was around about that time, I believe, that we first met. Was it 2000, maybe 2001, I think, and you were reassessing, what should I do? What should I do? But then now you have come full circle and you've successfully relaunched your corporate career, and that's ticking along beautifully, and you're in a leadership role and you're doing wonderful things, but you have now married your interior design business as a side project, which is growing just so very, very well with your full-time corporate role. Now, that's ideal for most people. And I always think, if you're thinking about starting your own business, then start it up as a side project first and see how you go. But you've taken it to the next level. You've got some amazing clients that you're working with, and you've structured your business a little bit differently. So tell me, how do you marry the corporate with your successful interior design business now?
Well, what I did, Jane, was really, I kind of assessed what did I do for those 8 years before I left, because that worked. And then I realised that a big part of it was having another resource involved that can actually do some day-to-day for you. And then I actually did a lot of coaching, and I was working on this process, design implementation strategy that I worked on with a coach. And then I started to think to myself, hang on a second, if I break this down, there's really only 4 or 5 full days out of this whole project that I need to be around. And then what I decided to do was, why don't I engage people that are actually working full-time as designers? That is their profession. They don't want to do what I'm doing, which is absolutely fine, or they haven't had the experience, whatever. And I actually have somebody who I work with now in the same way I did in the past. And I hire that person, that resource, for blocks of hours, and we work out an estimate of when they would need to be on site. I plan everything out really well. So everything's documented, all the planning's done on computer-aided design, and it's kind of nothing changes, nothing sort of floats around and changes here to there. It's about sticking to a process, and I designed this project implementation system that allows for me to just come in at key points. So, I meet with clients only on a Saturday. Most people are happy with that. I'll have a day where I'll need to go and fabric source. And the rest of the time is really, stuff that I do need to be on board with, which is very minimal time, 9 to 5. And then I have I'm actually working with one person at the moment who's coming in and doing all that stuff. And it's actually working out really well. You have to have, we know there's sacrifices, Jane. I can't say that I don't sit there and do computer work until 9 o'clock at night, or design and do my PowerPoint presentations. I do that. But you know what? I'm not chasing the dollar to pay my mortgage. I used to lay there at night and think, how the hell am I going to pay my mortgage? And that's a really terrifying thing. I never thought I would have to borrow money off family. And then it became to the point where my worst nightmare to me was to borrow money. But I had to do it. I had no choice. But the whole idea now is to stay within. Why freak out? Stick with a great company. I stopped managing people, which was the part I didn't like about working corporate before. Now I'm a sole contributor. It's so much better. I didn't want to really manage people, so I'm not managing people. And I schedule everything out, and I have this support from somebody else that is in the game Monday to Friday. And it's working out well. The savings that I'm making first of all, I had to recoup some dollars that I lost, all about it. But I've got a separate account, and I'm putting money away in. And to me, this suits me. I think you're the one that said, Adam, you have a lifestyle business. This is a lifestyle business. So I'm happy with a lifestyle business. I get to be creative. I don't have to talk to these crazy people that want to change my contract and get me to do that and get me to do that. I'm just working with people I want to. And I don't have the time to work with a whole bunch of people, but the people I do work with, I'm really enjoying working with. And it's working both ways. So I don't know if I answered the question. I might have gone on a tangent, but this is how it's working now. And it is to do with that implementation strategy, which has changed everything. It's really well organised, and that's how I'm able to do both.
Yeah. And also knowing what your strengths are, you've now come full circle and you realize what you enjoy doing, what you don't enjoy doing in your corporate life. You're someone who likes to get stuff done, not managing or leading people, but getting your job done. So you're a technical specialist. And then in your own business, rather than having to faff about doing the nitty-gritty, you can do that creative side, and having help and outsourcing what it is that you don't need to be hands-on with, it makes 100% sense. You found that magic balance, haven't you? So that you can create what I always, as you say, I love a lifestyle business, because you can either build an enterprise or you can build a lifestyle business. And a lifestyle business really makes you happy, and you do most of what you enjoy doing, and a little bit of admin because that's obviously necessary. But you've now come to this perfect balance that I think so many people would be very envious of. And there are many, many people who think, oh, I wish I could be an interior designer. And I know that in September, you're going to be launching your podcast to help people who are aspiring interior designers to find that happy balance, so that they don't give everything up, go full hog all the way into their own business and think, uh-oh, that didn't quite work out. So tell us about the podcast, Adam.
Well, the podcast, thanks, Jane. So the podcast is launching September 5th. It's really about my experience. I just started, I thought, what I was tired of hearing was just all these sort of, I listen to a lot of podcasts, but it was all about, how to get luxury clients. Join my program to work out how to have just never-ending luxury clients, big dollars, get a staff of 1,000 and have a lovely, rich life. And I was listening to that and thinking, that wasn't my experience at all. I did lots of coaching for luxury, this, luxury, that, and it didn't work out like that. That's not what really happened. And then I started to talk to other people, and there's plenty of people that had my experience or are having my experience that are not having this string of luxury clientele. So this is a real thing out there, and I wanted to present the podcast to people about the pros and cons of it. And you don't have to go and do it. I wanted a creative outlet. I wanted to be fulfilled. But I realised I didn't actually need to do this full time and lay awake at night wondering how to pay my bills. I just wanted to be able to do it and still be able to be comfortable and not be stressed. So this podcast is about my experience. It's about all those years we talked about, but it's also about how you can do the same thing. If you want a life change, a midlife change, or you're considering it, you don't have to go full throttle and then it burns you and you leave it all together. Why not try a tempered approach where you really get to move in and out as is comfortable? I'm going to talk about all that on the podcast, and just share my experiences, and I'm looking forward to doing that and just having a dialogue with people about it.
I'm very, very excited. You're going to have to tell us the title of your podcast, Adam.
So it's called So You Want to Be an Interior Designer. So the website is live, and I have a quiz, which you gave me the idea for the quiz. As we know, Joe, actually, you gave me the name of the podcast. Let's cut the cackle. You gave me the name. You got a quiz, and I thought I'm just going to nick that off you. But so you want to be an interior designer. /quiz is where you can, if you want to work out your strengths and opportunities, if you're in design or you're just thinking about it, go and do the quiz. So you want to be an interior designer, .com/quiz. It'll be in the show notes, won't it?
Okay. Well, everybody listening who can't wait to listen to the podcast, don't worry. I'll have all of the links in my show notes at janejacksoncoach.com/podcast. And So
you want to be interiordesigner.tv/podcast, because it's going to be a YouTube as well as like yours, Jane. It's going to be a YouTube with video as well as an audio.
And you know what? Adam does have a YouTube channel with so many fabulous videos of the interior design work that he's done in the past as well. Such a creative. When I first landed on Adam's YouTube channel, I thought, you know what, Adam, you have such talent here. We need to work this out so you don't chuck it all in, because it's
we
all
did
on
too.
what can we possibly do? And you've now created this wonderful lifestyle business, and you're going to be inspiring aspiring interior designers too, so that they can dip a toe in the water to see if this is right for them, and they'll find out how you can find that perfect balance between having a full-time job or a part-time job and building your business, and then see how that grows as well. But you know what? It doesn't mean that you have to keep growing the business and then give up the corporate. You can manage both. How does Adam do it? Well, you'll find out in the podcast. So you want to be an interior designer, launching on the 5th of September. I am so excited because I love podcasting. As you know, I've been podcasting for years now. And the good thing about podcasting is that you get to reach so many people, and then you start getting all these emails saying, oh, that really touched a nerve. How do you do this? You know, could you work with me and help me with this as well? And that's what will probably happen with yours, because people will see that you're not promising this unrealistic unicorn business that's going to magic themselves, you know, into your world if you keep manifesting and thinking and, you know, doing your dream boards or whatever, which, you know, works for some people. But to be quite honest, when you're building a business, it takes a lot of hard work, marketing, sales, implementation, creativity. And what would you say, Adam, are the key qualities that you bring to your business?
Well, the interior design side of things is having a really good process. So when you're running a project, the contract's really important. And this is what I realised. This is how I get the clients now. They're not just cold calls. They're all referrals, as you know, in most businesses. That's where you get the clients that are kind of warm and ready to go. So what's happening now, Jane, is I couldn't get the phone to ring that much during COVID. And now that I'm working again, the phone's going all the time. So, but that's really a culmination of all those years. And it's actually having a really strong process, which is really, I've got 12 steps, 12 to 15, I think, in there. But the client's really clear about every step that's going to happen, how I charge, what they should expect, when I'm coming in, when I'm not going to be there. And I think that I needed to develop that over time. But now that I have that, and I've been working with this process for a long time, when they come to me, my new prospects, which are all pretty warm now because I'm not doing anything to market it to cold clients, there's experience. People they know how you've worked with other people. They know you're not a crazy maniac who's going to steal their money and have trades that are going to leave the ceiling hanging out. It's sound, and it's all documented well. So that's so important, the documentation and the process. That's what works well for me now.
Yeah. You know, I'm interested to know, when it comes to design and architecture and interiors, what's the style that you love the most?
Do you know what? I'm eclectic, and that's the other thing. I kept being taught that I should have a niche. And I don't really have a niche. I mean, I'm sitting here in this bright blue jacket, and I was told by a fashion sort of consultant that blue actually attracts people to you. So that's why I'm sort of hoping everyone's attracted here. But I'll go and do the interiors like this, and then I'll come home and I've got a black wall and beige sofa. So I'm kind of all over the place. And I think we should be allowed to be eclectic and all over the place. I don't want to just do beachy interiors or whatever's current. I want to just do whatever. And so I guess that's what people come to me for, is just that there's not one size fits all. It's whoever you are, and I just work with that, you know.
And I think it's
mostly eclectic design.
Yeah, but the good thing is that means that you can work with a range of clients, and you take that time, because I know one thing I've found working with you, Adam, is that you really listen. You listen and you find out about your clients as well. And so that you can tap into what they want to create, and then you can make their dream happen, which I think is absolutely magic. I think if anyone is thinking of interior design and making a bit of a change in their homes, then find Adam Scougall Design. And also, if you're thinking about becoming an interior designer yourself, listen to Adam Adam's podcast, So You Want to Be an Interior Designer, and find out the nitty-gritty. Basically, Adam, you're going to go into a deep dive into how to set up a business, how to balance your business, the pitfalls, who to work with, who not to work with, and, you know, the ups and downs and the real down and dirty of building this business, because it's not easy. It takes a lot of hard work, and you tell it like it is. Yes.
Yeah, and also if I can backtrack a little bit, Jane, because this is where I just want to highlight where you've helped me specifically on the corporate side. I didn't like my corporate role that much because I was sick of managing people. But one of the things that you helped me with, if I can give you some credit there, is saying, hey, you don't have to manage people anymore. You know, if you want to have the best of both worlds, what about looking at ways that you're not managing a team of people? So it's also about changing the role. If you want to stay within your current role, and if it is a corporate role, if you don't like a part of it, you don't have to stay in that business unit or like I was, managing people after all that time and all their issues. You know, sometimes it's great, sometimes it's not. I learned how to be a coach, though. That was the good thing about that, which I'll bring into this next business. But I think the other thing is you can change, can't you? You can change the makeup of your current role, get into a different business area or try something else where you can have both work successfully. So I just wanted, that was important as well, because going back to corporate also had to be not a nightmare in terms of the content of what I was doing day to day. It had to be a new, exciting beginning that way, as well as, you know, being able to manage the design side of things. So that was important as well. That's important to my happiness now, as well as they're both working harmoniously together.
Yeah, because if one ends up being a huge drain on your energy, you can't be your best self in either.
That's it.
And I think that right now you've created just the perfect balance where you love the corporate work, you love the creative work, you love having the freedom of running your own business as well. And very few people are able to get that really good balance. So I think for you're a wonderful role model when it comes to becoming an interior designer. Yeah. And I'm inspired. Next time I'm going to renovate, I think you're going to have to come and have a look and tell me if my colours are all wrong and what should I choose.
I won't say they're all wrong. There's a bit of diplomacy there, Jane.
Yeah, well, you can see my office here if you're looking at the video. So it's pretty.
I'd be delighted, Jane. But delighted.
You're absolutely right about blue. Blue is the most universally liked colour as well. And so you're not going to put anyone offside by wearing that particular color. Sometimes people end up being really flamboyant with the neon oranges or whatever. And, you know, some people like that, but a lot of people don't. So it's good that you're able to appeal and use color to your advantage as well. What are your final words that you're going to leave with us? And I want to remind everybody, have a look at my show notes. I'll have all the links to Adam's content, YouTube, podcast, as well as his website. So final words from you, Adam.
Well, final words is really to thank you for giving me the opportunity to be on your amazing podcast and giving me an opportunity to speak about, I guess, the reality of my journey. I just want to say that you don't have to go and, as we've talked about, you don't have to throw the baby out with the bathwater. You don't have to go and be a full-time interior designer and have all that pressure on, you know, paying for everybody's wage in an office and making sure you got the jobs coming in so that those people are paid. You can just do it. You know, for me, it was a creative outlet that I realised I needed. I didn't need the burden of going through, you know, a pending recession and COVID and this and that. That just ripped my soul apart. But what I realised is if I can just get back into a role that gives me that money that I need every month, if I take on a design job, I do it. If I like that person, I do it. If I don't like it, you know, I'm not able to do the job at the moment, whatever it is. But I'm pretty happy. I get to do what I want, and it's working in all areas. So there isn't one size fits all. And I hope, you know, that if anyone's interested, come and join me on the podcast, and I'll talk you through everything that's happened. It's going to be fun, but it's going to be real, and it's all happening next month. And thank you. Final words, Jane, for giving me the opportunity to be on the show, and I really appreciate it.
You're one of the most delightful people I've ever worked with and one of my favorite podcast guests. So I'm going to have you on the show again. I'd say about 6 months into your podcast and so find out, how has it gone?
I'm so excited, Jane.
Well, thank you so much, Adam. It's such a delight to talk to you, and roll on the launch of So You Want to Be an Interior Designer.
Thank you so much.
Bye now.
Thanks, Jane.
Thanks for joining me today. For affordable career help, please check out my Career Success Program. I provide a unique blend of online and live career coaching to help you take control of every aspect of your career or career change. If you aren't where you want to be in your career, let's talk. Check it out at thecareersacademy.online. The links are in my show notes.